of the magic dragons that should party. If it's all natural, put it in your body. Cheats will be there, so will Bob Marley. Strings in the phone, we'll run out of here. Off to the magic dragon.
So what about other rooms in the house? Typically, most of what will be done in these rooms will be covered in the wall, ceiling, and floor segments. However, lights, outlets, switches, and ceiling fans are the other elements that tend to come up in these areas. These rooms still adhere to the perspective that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and certainly benefit from being added to the once-a-year scrutiny list we talk about in the miscellaneous section. In case you're wondering, this is where we entertain the suggestion that if one wants to be preventive, you select an area or function of your home that you intentionally check over with a preventive maintenance looking glass. We guide you through the process. For members, our blog touches on a different aspect each month to simply act as a reminder. And as always, here's to a happy house.
Blessed is the man who walketh not in the counsel of ungodly, put himself the wicked. Only the righteous will live long. If you want to know the secrets of your lifetime, put your mind about your evil thinking. There's a time you get when you have to suffer. That's the time when you will find out if your brother's your brother.
We believe in the power of word of mouth, and thank you for sharing us with your friends and family. We also thank those of you supporting our efforts. We couldn't do it without you. We link you to a lot of posts, and as usual, we'll strive to keep seeking out the best of the best. We don't claim perfection, so if you find a post or create one that will improve our list, we would love to have you send us a link. We will evaluate and share so as to help everyone. As always, we value your questions and comments. Remember to strive to make each project an enjoyable and rewarding experience. Here's to your successes.
To the songs they play, we can come again, do it just the same. Hey, now I feel it in my heart, being such a golden time at the parties. Now there's hardly any safe place left to go.
Let's talk for a moment about stairs. And I'm referring mostly to inside stairs, but the same principles apply to outside as well. If you have a post-1950s house, there's a strong chance that your stair situation is in great shape. If you have the honors of an older home, you may have some issues. I once had a mechanical arts instructor that introduced me to drafting and other lifetime skills. He often said that if he were marooned on an island, the one thing he would want with him was the architectural graphics standards. This wouldn't be my pick, but it did leave an impression. This kind of reference, which is often called the architect's Bible, does come in handy for stairs, railings, etc. Our reference section gives some links, plus some less involved alternatives. You know, a fraction of an inch may not seem like a lot, but when it comes to stairs and railings, it can be huge. And this is especially the case if there's an inspector involved. I could tell you a totally crazy stair story, but I'll save it for another time. The point is, if you're doing major changes, you may want to check on local codes. There are also times, especially in older homes, where there are simply limitations that prevent a very functional end result. Generally, it's to a basement, but sometimes stairs can go to the bedrooms, which can limit newer furniture being brought in and so forth. And that's really unfortunate, especially if you didn't realize it until trying to move in. This will also support the design role of good inspectors. In our 100-year-old farmhouse, I was stuck with a staircase that entered a far end upstairs bedroom. I thought I was stuck with it until a mentor suggested I explore the possibility of reversing the L-shaped staircase. That light bulb idea worked and totally transformed both the upstairs and the main floor for the better. The takeaway on this is that sometimes there are options, but they may require thinking out of the box. Oftentimes, a simple addition of a stair runner or eliminating some squeaks might make your stairs feel a lot better. Sometimes, simply adding a solid or safe handrail can also be a great improvement. We have passed on a number of homes where other things were done well, but a bump staircase next to the So it's important to take that into consideration. Pull-down stairs are sometimes options that can generate some creative storage areas, or at least access into an attic or a garage. The bottom line is look at your available space, including heights, widths, etc. Look at the functional needs, gather some creative minds, and you might just come up with some creative solutions. Remember, we're pulling for you. Okay, let's talk a little bit about trim work. This is an element in homes since the 60s that has been greatly toned down in the new housing trends. There are some exceptions, but the houses from the 1920s stand out to say the least. There were built-ins, archways, significant window and door trims, stair rails, and in general, extensive trim work. And that was often standard fare. I greatly appreciate when these elements have been tenderly cared for over the years, and I also cringe when they have been treated poorly. The trend these days is to paint much of this woodwork, which I know at times is by far the easiest and perhaps even the best option. And when done well and tastefully, the old trim can still hold its character and look good. To fully refinish old woodwork can be awesome, but it is truly a labor of love. Indeed, repairing and trying to match some of the old wood and woodworking can be tricky. Again, but very rewarding if one is up to the challenge. Matching the exact wood type may not be essential. I'm personally not opposed to mixing things up a little bit. But as I often say, use good taste and not just the cheapest option. Newer trim is relatively easy to install, especially with a good chop saw and an air nailer. Though, as I say many times, there's an easy and a hard way to do everything. I learned to do trim work after my initial Framing 101 to 401 intensive hands-on OJT. This was in new homes, installing oak trim using a hand miter saw, block plane, and 4, 6, and 8 penny nails, and a nail set. My boss was ultra picky to say the least, and everything needed to fit perfectly or you redid it. Most guys and gals today wouldn't last a day with those kinds of tools and constraints. And I indeed have seen lots of crappy trim work. Here's 2 steps to awesome trim work. Pretty simple. A, find a good mentor. By the way, did I mention that's what we do? And B, take the time to do it right. By the way, I became much more conscientious about framing after installing trim work. Sloppy framers who constantly cut corners or take shortcuts can be a good finish guy's worst nightmare. On the flip side, I've seen a lot of folks trim out without correcting framing shortcuts. In reality, by the time someone picks up on it, they will be long gone and forgotten. And here's a shout out for good home project guys and gals who take on jobs start to finish and do it right from beginning to end. I commend you. Here's to happy trimming.
Green Harvest and the president just can't get enough. And next year we'll see you at the cannabis club. Oh, she nice and she was so nice. She's so nice. She's so nice. Oh, she nice and she was so nice. She's so nice. He's inside us. Funky, 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 Papa Lolo. Funky, funky, Papa Lolo. Off a magic dragon at your party. If it's all natural, put it in your body. Cheech will be there, so will Bob Marley. Songs on the ball, rolling on a Harley. Puff the magic dragon, puff the magic dance. All I read. Sit right back on this big ass couch. Share this joint with you again. The time 420, roll fat, not skinny. Heat up the house, smoke coming out the chimney. From Maui to Humboldt, we got it going on. From India to Africa to the break of dawn. I deliver to girls with really nice figures and smoke up the kaya at reggae on the river. How's that?